So let's take one more city to answer the question. Let's take one more city. Let's say the city is somewhat looking like this. Okay, this is the city map we are having. Okay, and basically this is the city we are having, and we want to open our output again. So let's say the data points are somewhat looking somewhat like these. This is your data points. Okay, this and this and this. Let's say these are the data points that we are looking at. Okay, and now we don't know how many clusters we should make. Although we are humans, we know we are smart, we can make 2 clusters, but let's say a computer doesn't know. Okay, let's think like a computer. Don't think like a human. The humans are really smarter than computers. So that is why I'm telling you, learn like a, think like a computer. Computer doesn't know how many clusters they should make. So how do I find out? How do I find out that? How do I find out how many clusters should I make? Okay, so what we're going to use? We are going to use something known as hierarchical clustering. Okay, hierarchical clustering. We're going to use something known as hierarchical clustering. What this does, it will start with the 2 closest distance that exist in a particular domain. Okay, to particular data. It will scan the whole data set and it will see which are the 2 closest distance that it has. So we are having these 2 are the closest distance. Okay, these 2 are the closest distance, and what we did, we created a clusters out of it. Okay, it saw another, then it will search for the another 2 closest distance. These are the 2 closest distance. We make a clusters out of this, and again these 2 are the closest distance. Let's say we make a clusters out of this. Okay, and after that we saw that these 2 are the closest distance. Okay, these 2 are the closest distance. So what we did, we basically create a whole clusters out of it. Okay, we basically create a whole new cluster. That means all the these 2 clusters are going to get combined, and we're going to create a new clusters out of it. Again, these 2 are the 2 closest distances, so we're going to have a new cluster which is look like this. Okay, and again we are having these 2 distance as the closest one. We are having the new clusters like this. Now we are having 2 clusters, and now the 2 closest distance are these 2. Now the 2 closest distance are these 2, and as soon as we see that the closest distance are getting increased, the closest distance between 2 points is too big, we are going to stop the algorithm at that particular point of time. Okay, we are going to stop the algorithm at that particular point of time. Okay, so whenever we are facing these problems, that whenever we don't know how many clusters we end up with, we'll be using hierarchical clustering for that. And hierarchical clustering, what it works like, it will start with 2 minimum distances, and minimum distance we are going to give it. We are going to give what is the minimum distance, what is the maximum distance. Okay, we are going to give in our code. Okay, so we start with the minimum distances, and we keep making clusters until it reaches until the 2 points which are closest to each other, and they are way from each other. Okay, which are way from far from each other, and when the distance get increased on a particular level, we stop the algorithm at that particular point of time. Okay, so basically that is how hierarchical clustering works, and now we end up with 2 clusters here. Now we end up with the 2 clusters, and now this is how hierarchical clustering actually works. Okay, so the key takeaway from these 2 lectures, from the last 2 lectures, is the first lecture for the k-means. If we talk about k-means basically told us that whenever you know how many clusters you want to make, you're going to use k-means for that. And whenever we don't know what kind of clusters you want to make, you're going to use hierarchical clustering for that. How k-means work? K-means is going to come to the centroid. It is calculating centroid again and again. I'll talk about that. It is calculating centroid again and again. Okay, and it is coming to the between. In the same way, hierarchical clustering is what it is doing. It is calculating the minimum distance between 2 points. That means the 2 closest distance. It will keep searching for it until it reaches some particular distance. That means when the distance between the closest point is way too big that we cannot consider as a cluster, then we're going to stop the algorithm and we're going to move forward with the 2 clusters, whatever the clusters we're going to get. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next video.